Raptors just got a big win against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and once again, the starters were amazing. They played well, as they really have been since the acquisition of Jakob Poeltl, but Nick Nurse made one rotation change tonight that I think benefited this team greatly, and we'll see how that impact plays out as we continue to face some tough competition in the coming games. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into this game as the Toronto Raptors just got a 128-111 victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder. And as mentioned, the starters, they've been great. Right? Jakob Poeltl, fourth quarter in this game was absolutely cooking, right? Siakam had a bounce back outing in this one, 25 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists, 9-19 from the field, so relatively efficient as well, right? Poeltl had 16 points himself, 4 of 11, but Jakob Poeltl hitting free throws. We'll chat about all of that, but let's just run through the starters. So I want to get about this rotation change, right? Fred VanVleet, 19 points, right? This is the game that, we would hope to expect night in, night out from Fred. Can we expect a 35-point, 8 for 12 shooting from the three-point line type of game? No, it's unrealistic for Fred VanVleet's player, his stature and all that sort of stuff. But if he can reliably get us, that 17 to 20 point range, and, tonight, when 3 of 7 from the three-point line, also get us 5 assists, 5 rebounds, facilitate, got some steals out there tonight. This is the perfect sort of Fred VanVleet game we could use to really start winning games, especially where he's not, overpowering the offense, taking too many shots, but he's still being an effective player out there. He's not passing up looks and anything like that. So really nice game for Fred VanVleet in this one as well. OG also played some really solid defense, dealt with some foul trouble, had some weird calls get against him, but I thought even though Shai Gilgeous-Alexander still put up his numbers, right, OG did a good job when he switched on to him. 17 points for OG, 4 rebounds, and 6 of 9 from the field, but it seems like he's just playing his role a little bit more. Obviously, OG's been a bit inconsistent in recent weeks, but I like what I've seen from OG Anunoby, especially defensively. He's not been up and down like he was his first couple games back coming from injury, but OG was pretty solid on that front tonight in terms of scoring. And then, Scottie Barnes, the starting lineup in this one, 19 points, 8 of 14 from the field, driving the lane, hit a couple middies and stuff, just getting his game rolling. Right, Scottie Barnes is getting more and more comfortable. And I think the new starting lineup has benefited Scottie greatly because you see that number, right? 6 assists for Scottie Barnes. That could be in the 10, 12, just the way he facilitates, the way he passes. Jakob Poeltl being a target underneath the rim. There's a lot of times Scottie's throwing passes and then Poeltl's getting fouled and stuff. But this starting lineup is unlocked, right? It just makes sense in terms of player structure and stuff with Poeltl actually out there, and there's less ISO play, there's less players that sort of do the same thing out on the court all at once, so I'm very happy with how the starters have been playing, and the big thing, which is the question mark, the thing that every single Toronto Raptors fan can't fully be on board, right? Fully be like myself, predicting top 3 seed and bounce back and all this sort of stuff. And so the reason we've lost some games lately is because the bench has just been not consistent enough, right? We haven't been able to get that firepower off the bench, right? Since acquiring Jakob Poeltl, right? Like, our starting unit has been great. Things have come together. Those lineups are usually in the top plus minus for the games and all that, even games we've lost. The bench comes in and they're just unproductive. And tonight, a big part of the reason that we were expecting the bench to sort of get picked up, obviously we had the acquisition of Will Barton, but Gary Trent Jr. being moved to the bench, he had some moments earlier in the season where he thrived off the pine. He did have his ups and downs on that front, but having Gary as a spark plug off the bench to be able to get you some buckets, right? To come in and be that star boy, right? Knock down some shots, some three-pointers, get some middies, and have more control of the offense, right? Because when the starting lineup, when he's playing with OG, Scottie, Pascal, Fred, Jakob wasn't on the team at that point, but when he was in those types of lineups, he's got to share the ball a little bit more, right? He's not going to get the same amount of touches, so he can really go wild on the bench, in theory. But hasn't really been the case. Now, I've criticized Nick Nurse for not giving Gary Trent Jr. enough minutes because, regardless of what you say about their performance, the bench players, you need to at least give them a little bit of run so they can catch fire and stuff. And Gary tonight really had a productive performance in terms off the bench. But Ben, you saw it in the title, you saw it in the thumbnail and all that sort of stuff. What's the rotation change that really had an impact on this Toronto Raptors game? And if you notice it, look at the box score, if you watch this game, not even in garbage time, not even in late minutes where we saw Joe Wieskamp and Malachi Flynn get some run, but Precious Achiuwa got a DNP coach's decision, as well as Thaddeus Young, right? None of our two of those guys, the 6'9" vision, all that sort of stuff, got no minutes whatsoever. Precious has been notoriously struggling, even though Christian Koloko dealt with a nose injury, couldn't play the end of the game. Early in the fourth, he had a nose injury, even though he had 0 points. Christian Koloko was the backup center for this team tonight, and even though I think Precious is a better player, I don't want to see Precious getting DNPs every single game like to close out the year. I don't think he should live in the Nick nursery or anything like that. But having a backup center, so the entire game, we can have either Pirtle or Christian Koloko out there. Even though Koloko is hated by the referees, even though they foul him every single chance they get, yada, yada, yada. When Koloko's out there, our defense is just a lot better. Obviously with Pirtle, it's the best, but having a true center, a true 5, right? Like, I really like how it looks. And the bench sort of, it makes more sense as well, right? We don't have those weird drives happening. Part of it's Precious also taking some wild shots at times while he's in there, but I don't know if it's on the offensive end, just having that rim protector that can dive to the rim, that can catch lobs, even though he didn't score any points tonight. But defensively, the impact's there. I think it just makes us play a more natural, more better style of basketball. We have true 2 7-foot centers out there, that can play defense, that can rim run. Fred VanVleet can throw lobs to him, even though Fred's not obviously on the bench or anything like that. But it's I like seeing Koloko out there, and a lot of people have been calling for him to get some opportunities along with Jeff Doughton, who's still on that 2-way. Someone free Jeff Doughton, someone get him up into the lineup, cut someone. Maybe Wieskamp is the guy that's going to have to get moved. Malachi had a rough last 2 minutes of this game. Just a couple open threes, and I think it was 0 for 3 in the garbage time in this one. Yeah, Malachi Flynn, 0 for 3 in this one, 0 for 2 from the three-point line. Had an assist, so shout out to Malachi. But, we need Jeff Doughton. We need Koloko out there for some minutes, and even though he's a rookie and stuff, he has that athleticism. I just really liked what he was providing to this game. So I don't know. If Precious, it's going to be interesting to see if he'll be out. We'll see what the post-game pressers and all that they have to say regarding Precious Achiuwa, because obviously he is a dude that Raptors fans think can, at least me, right? I've been drumming up the Precious propaganda since midway through last year. The next Giannis, better than Bam. There's nights where he looks like your 3rd best player. There's nights where he looks like your 10th best player. So I don't know. I'm big on Precious Achiuwa's future and prospects and stuff, and maybe playing him more of that natural 4 position, right? Then you're cutting into Chris Boucher's minutes, and things get weird on that front. Can Chris Boucher, can Precious play the 3, right? Can we have those ultra big lineups of Boucher, Precious, and Koloko out there coming off the bench? Who really knows? But it's I really like Koloko in those bench lineups when Jakob Poeltl's out of the game. And that's the lineups we won a championship with. Obviously, Pirtle and Koloko is not the level of Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka, but it's more natural. It's more what we're feeling, and the 6'9" vision hasn't seemed to have been working. So rotation change, definitely something to look forward to for this. Had an impact on tonight's game. We'll see if it does going forward as well. But I don't know. The Raptors won this game start to finish, and there hasn't been a lot of question marks about our starting lineups. Obviously, we haven't had many games like this where all real 6, of our top 6 guys have had monster performances. But even if we get 5, even if we get 4 of those guys having strong scoring outings, and then our bench outside of our top 6, I'm counting Gary into the starting unit, right, doesn't lay an egg. I guess Gary picked up for the rest of the squad tonight because it was only Will Barton who, hasn't impressed too much in his short tenure. Obviously, he's playing the backup point guard position now at this point. And Chris Boucher, 6 points, 3-6 on the field. Not bad. Had 7 rebounds, which was nice, but had a block in garbage time, which was wild. But it's going to be interesting to see how these rotations play out to close out the season. And will Koloko play minutes in an actual playing game for this Raptors team? That's a question I want to know what you guys have to think about that one. But overall, the Raptors did a really good job. Obviously, looking at it from the Oklahoma City Thunder side, I must say they're a fun team to watch. They have some fun guys. Isaiah Joe's a little 3-point sniper on their squad. Shea, I really hope he becomes a Toronto Raptor someday. He is so smooth, even with OG and, the kitchen sink being thrown at him every single possession by Nick Nurse. Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams. He's been a nice little rookie for them. It's OKC's going to be good. OKC's going to be good. So we'll see if they end up making the play-in and stuff. And they were on a little win streak, so don't think of this as an easy Toronto Raptors W. We came out, we earned this game. Everyone played well. And we got a big one against the Minnesota Timberwolves this Saturday. But folks, You guys are the best to make this far. Subscribe to the Raptors Digest if you haven't already. And I don't know, it should be fun watching the standings, everything navigate now as we inch closer and closer to likely the play-in picture that it seems like the Toronto Raptors will be in. But folks, you guys are the best to make this far. I'm signing out. Cheers.